Happy Sunday to everyone, but not so good news on the other side, as at least 19 people were killed on Sunday after a commercial flight operated by Precision Air crash-landed in Lake Victoria in Tanzania. The flight, including 39 passengers and 4 crew members, had taken off from Tanzania's commercial capital of Dar es Salaam and was headed to the city of Bukoba before it plunged into Lake Victoria as it was approaching the airport. Rescue operations are still underway. And in sports, Kenya's Evans Chebet clinched his second world major title of the 2022 after running a tactical race to win the New York Marathon on Sunday in 2 hours, 8 minutes and 41 seconds. Welcome to the program. In the headlines tonight. Tonight, passengers stranded as Kenya Airways pilots go on strike.
This is an illegal strike. It is an unlawful strike because the courts have declared it unlawful.
This as the airline's CEO, Alan Kilavuka, warns that pilots who don't return to work will face disciplinary action. Also tonight, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua tells off Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga over his criticism of the government.
Please, we want a strong and vibrant opposition to keep us in check. Please, Mzee, take your rightful place as the leader of opposition and provide oversight to our government.
Adding that the Kenya Kwanza government is open to positive criticism. Plus, in our special feature, we highlight the contentious issues surrounding the procurement of abortion.
Hizi hanga za chuma, there's a way inakunjwa, and then unaingizwa hiyo hanga, and then anakuchokora nayo, anaenda kudistract ile formation ya mtoto.
My name is Karen Karimi, and Catherine Simaloy is our sign language interpreter tonight. Now to our top story. Kenya Airways pilots strike entered the second day Sunday after more than 350 pilots declined to return to work despite a 24-hour ultimatum issued by the KQ management Saturday. Some of the pilots, however, returned to work and made a total of 6 domestic and international flights. And as our reporter Mike Kagwongo reports, some stuck passengers were transferred to different airlines to reach their destination in time.
For the second day running, long queues were witnessed at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi as the pilots' strike paralyzed operations. A spot check at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport revealed that most passengers were stranded after their flights were either cancelled or rescheduled. But as time passed, the more their hopes diminished as the KQ management was busy strategizing on the way forward.
I came here and I was told all the hotels are full up. So I had to go and look for accommodation for myself. I don't know whether I go to Mombasa and then come back this time. Tomorrow I'm supposed to be working. If I don't go to work, I'm sacked.
I will miss the opportunity to represent my country, and for that, because this means a lot to me, so I think it will really impact, it will really affect my course, because I want to really represent the country.
The pilots who are rostered to operate flights today, none of them showed up for their flights, and as a result of which we have started the disciplinary process, like we said yesterday.
While more than 350 pilots went on strike on Saturday, some of them were ready to carry on with their duties to salvage the situation in the company that could lose 300 million shillings per day due to the strike. Early Sunday, Kenya Airways announced the resumption of operations of a total of 6 flights amidst the pilots' strike. The routes include Nairobi to Entebbe at 12:45 p.m., Entebbe to Nairobi at 2:45 p.m., Nairobi to Mombasa at 1:30 p.m. and Mombasa to Nairobi at 3:30 p.m. Others were Nairobi to Lusaka at 5 p.m. and another one Nairobi to Lusaka at 8:20 p.m. A help desk has been set up at JKIA Terminal 1A to assist stranded passengers. According to KQ Chief Executive Officer Alan Kilavuka, the pilots who went against a 24-hour ultimatum set on Saturday will face disciplinary action immediately.
We are still open to talks, meaningful talks, but the most important thing is that these talks need to be held under the condition that they return to work. Because as we have said before, this is an illegal strike, it is an unlawful strike, because the courts have declared it unlawful. It's a HR manual, so we'll take them through a fair hearing as prescribed in our HR manual, up to and including termination of duties.
Some passengers were also transferred to different flights in an effort to reach their destination in time.
They are actually coordinating with other airlines to ensure that the passengers who were booked previously on KQ have an alternative transport to their locations.
We've so far, from midnight yesterday, we've so far had 56 cancellations, flight cancellations. We have disrupted about 12,000 passengers, and about 500 of those have been accommodated across Nairobi in various hotels.
Now, the pilot's irreducible minimum since Saturday seems to hit the rocks, even as Kenya Airways management still maintains that their punishment is still on the pipeline. Mike, GOtv 47 from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Nairobi.
Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has hailed Azimio leader Raila Odinga in what he termed as Odinga taking up his rightful position as the opposition leader. Raila in recent days has been seen firing salvos at the William Ruto-led administration, criticizing it in a number of issues. The latest being on matters NSSF and alleged harassment of former DCI Director George Kinoti. Wade William with that report.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has hit out at Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga, while at the same time lauding him for his recent criticism towards the government. The Deputy President maintaining that the Kenya Kwanza government is expecting more from the opposition side led by the former Premier.
Please, we want a strong and vibrant opposition to keep us in check. Please, Mzee, take your rightful place as the leader of opposition and provide oversight to our government.
Rigathi also urged the opposition not to shy away from pinpointing issues that they feel the William Ruto government is wrong on, insisting that as a regime they are open to criticism.
Keep us in check, correct us where we are wrong, and criticize whatever you think we are not doing correctly. That is your work, and that is a good job. Umepewa hiyo kazi na Wakenya, tafadhali fanya kazi yako na uendelee na hiyo kazi ya kuuliza maswali, and we shall take it nicely ukifanya kazi yako.
Leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza government, however, have called on the opposition to provide constructive criticism, blasting the Raila Odinga-led team for allegedly being part of the mess Ruto's government is working to undo.
Upinzani imeamuka tena. Wanaanza kupigana na serikali ambaye tumeweka. Serikali haijamaliza hata miezi 3. Wale ambao wanalia ati serikali haitendi ndio wale walibomoa. Wale walikuwa kwenye serikali wakati maovu yalitendeka ndio wako pale kwa sasa wanataka kutuzuubia.
Kama hangetoka upinzani akakuja kukoroga serikali, angesimamisha mambo mingi sana. Hii maneno ya extrajudicial killing haingeendelea. Maneno ya state capture haingeendelea. Maneno ya conflict of interest haingeendelea.
In the recent days, Raila Odinga has been at the forefront of leading an onslaught against some of the pronouncements made by the current regime, among them issues surrounding increasing the tax bracket and an increase of NSSF contributions, among others. The Deputy President spoke when he attended a Thanksgiving service at the IPCA kennel in Murang'a County. Mwige William, TV 47.
Now, the Kenya Red Cross Society has launched a livestock ground offtake program in Kilifi County to help families which have been highly affected by the drought pandemic. The program is part of the interventions by President William Ruto's administration following the pandemic that so far has affected over 4.3 million people in dire need of humanitarian assistance.
The Kenya Red Cross, in partnership with the county government of Kilifi, is launching a livestock offtake program to help families affected by drought. Speaking in Ganze, the Kenya Red Cross NEC Program Standing Committee member Marjan Ramadan in Kilifi said that they have managed to get relief food from the national government, including 5,000 bags of rice, 800 bags of beans, and 600 cartons of corned beef for all those affected by drought.
Sisi leo tukiwa hapa Kilifi, tumekuja na tumepata ruzuku kutoka serikali kuu ya magunia zaidi ya 5,000 ya mchele, magunia zaidi 800 ya maharagwe na katoni zaidi ya 600 yaani nyama ambayo ilitengezwa mzuri, nyororo, corned beef zaidi ya 600 kwa wakazi wote wa eneo hili.
The program, which was officially launched by Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro, it's also done in line with mass relief distribution exercises going on in the counties affected, including Kilifi, which is among the worst hit by the drought.
Tumesema dharura ni watu wapate chakula sababu kulikuwa hakuna mvua. Lakini mbegu pia tunafuatilia. Mambo ya mbolea, msiwe na wasiwasi, mbolea ile ambayo ilitangazwa na serikali ishafika Kilifi, iko pale kwa cereals board, na baada ya kugawanya chakula tunatafuta pia mbegu ili mbolea na nyingine. Mkishapata chakula kwanza mkishiba, hivi karibuni pia mbolea itafata na mbegu ili mvua ikinyesha watu wapande.
Hiyo basi ninashukuru na msaada huu, lakini itakuwa hivyo kila siku. Ninafuga hii nisaidie. Si kwamba ninafuga wakati wa kama hivi kiangazi nipeleke huko. Hii niwe kama sistimu moja, lakini siwe ni kazi ya kila siku.
The national government is spearheading the livestock ground offtake program, which seeks to buy animals from drought-stricken families, slaughter them and distribute them in the affected areas.
Hasa wale ambao ni watoto wadogo, yani tunajua zile tarakimu, idadi ya wale watoto wadogo ambao chini ya miaka 5 na wale ambao hasa chini ya miaka 5 ndio hata za wale ambao wanaanza chekechea. Wamekumbwa sana na ugonjwa huu, matatizo haya ya kutokuwa na lisho bora.
Ganze Member of Parliament Kenneth Kazungu said he had the national government plans to build 100 dams in the county.
Tunaomba kama damu mbili zije zijengwe huku. Kuna mto wa Kajiri pale Nzovuni, kuna mto wa Kafuloni, kuna mto wa Rare. Hizi ni mito ambazo wakati wa mvua zina maji mengi sana.
Now, Kenyan athletes earlier today dominated the New York Marathon after Evans Chebet and Sharon Lokedi won the men's and women's categories of the race respectively. Now, in the men's category, Chebet, who won the Boston Marathon early this year, dashed to the finish line first with 32 kilometers, remaining after Brazil's Daniel do Nascimento, who led the race on a high pace, dropped out. Chebet finished first in a time of 2 hours, 8 minutes and 41 seconds, as Ethiopia's Shura Gitata came in second, only 0.13 seconds off the pace, while Netherlands' Abdi Nageye settled for third. In the women's category, Lokedi crossed the finish line first in a time of 2 hours, 23 minutes and 23 seconds, ahead of Israel's Lona Chemtai Salpita and Ethiopia's Gototem Gebreselassie, who came in second and third, respectively.
New York, Evans Chebet. Katie deciding to take on the Marathon 22 TCS New York City Marathon champion. Salpeter will come in second, just a few seconds behind with
the gritting of the teeth. Really just, you can see the line and you're...
Congratulations to the athletes. 19 people have been reported dead after a precision airplane crashed into Lake Victoria in Tanzania. Reports made by the state-owned Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation, that's the TBC, says that the aircraft crashed while attempting to land at an airport in Bukoba. The plane had a total of 43 passengers, 2 flight attendants and 2 pilots, who also perished. By around 2 p.m., the rescue team had managed to save 26 people who have been rushed to Kagera Provisional Hospital for treatment.
Jamani, ajali. Yo, tumepata ajali. Ajali. Bukoba. Jamani, maskini.
Very sad indeed. The first officer actually on that aircraft was a family friend of mine. May he rest in peace. Moving on, Secretary General of the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, GOtv, Kelos Misori, has warned politicians to refrain from politicizing delocalization of teachers. Misori says it would be better if the members of parliament would focus on fighting for the teachers' welfare, like a review of their salaries.
The issues surrounding delocalization of teachers have been top of the agenda in many education stakeholders' meetings, with the government insisting it will do away with it in a bid to strengthen the family unit. Some politicians have also engaged in the debate, and now the Secretary General of GOtv has warned members of parliament to stop politicizing the issue.
Teachers must be employed where their services are required. Teachers are professionals, and therefore, considering the teachers as professionals and their issues being canvassed by Parliament, that Parliament is the one which is now deciding where teachers would be posted, would mean that we will be having challenges dealing with teacher management, because some teachers cannot be removed or cannot be moved from a particular environment because members of Parliament or other authorities want them to work elsewhere. Teachers are professionals, just like doctors. They cannot be surgeons in their own villages.
GOtv also wants members of parliament to stop interfering with how the Teacher Service Commission conducts its work.
Teacher transfers, it cannot be a function of parliament by all standards. It cannot be a function of parliament. And we would not wish to deal with the Teacher Service Commission whose hands are fettered or whose functions are now taken to Parliament for deliberations unless they have gone overboard.
Misori wants the members of parliament to focus their attention to fighting for the welfare of teachers, such as review of salaries. Meanwhile, a section of leaders from GOtv have given Minet Insurance an ultimatum of 7 days to remove some hospitals from the list of hospitals that provide treatment to teachers. The leaders were speaking from Kaptagat Girls Secondary School in Elgeyo Marakwet County.
We have been having this Minet offering the teachers medical cover, which we are not satisfied with the way they are offering the services. We have been agitating for comprehensive NHIF cover. We have not gotten it. But to our surprise, even the few good hospitals, the few very good hospitals which were available or providing services with Minet are now being taken away.
All the service providers, the hospitals, we would want them to serve the teachers in a very humane way, and that we do not want to see exaggerated bills that are given to the teachers, so that before the end of the year, some teachers will have run out of their medical cover scheme.
When the teachers of Kenya say that we don't want Medil, when they complain about Medil, we have complained about even hospitals like Police, who are giving us raw deal, and no one listens. But you go ahead to remove the only hospital that the teachers believe in.
The issue of Minet has brought a lot of havoc to teachers of this country. And the teachers are not happy. Teachers are seeing that the services that is rendered by Ion or Minet is not proper.
Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
The Kenya Women Teachers Association is now calling on the government to zero-rate sanitary towels to enable more girls, especially from humble backgrounds, to afford them. Elsewhere, Safina Party leader Jimmy Wanjigi is now opposing the tax increase plan by the government. Collins Lusweti with a roundup of stories.
Yeah. Women.
Teachers Association.
The Kenya Women Teachers Association, GOtv, is now calling on the government to zero-rate sanitary towels to enable more girls, especially from humble backgrounds, to afford them. The association says girls are experiencing difficulty accessing the pads.
We are very passionate about giving out sanitary towels because we have asked the government many times to zero-rate sanitary towels, and it's not yet being zero-rated, and yet girls are missing school every month. They miss 4 days for a natural occurrence. And I do not shy away from saying that the government is providing free condoms, and yet sex is voluntary.
Speaking at Shalom Primary School in Gabit Ward, Laikipia County, where the association donated foodstuff and sanitary towels to pupils, the association also appealed to the government and well-wishers to enhance school feeding program to the areas affected by drought in the country.
We know what is going on in the country. So as we take care of other adults elsewhere, let us all remember the children.
The National Disaster Operations Center Director Charles Owino now wants residents living along the coastline to be on the lookout for tsunami alerts following the climatic changes experienced globally.
Ningependa kueleza wale wakazi wa Mombasa kwamba ni lazima wajue janga hili la tsunami ni janga la aina gani na ni njia gani ambaye wanaweza kujitayarisha ili kuweza kukabiliana na hili janga.
Speaking during a tsunami drill preparedness exercise at Nyali Beach, where different stakeholders showcased their prowess in handling the crisis if it occurred, the director noted that they have been conducting such drills every 2 years along the coastal strip. However, he indicated plans to have it annually since the climatic changes witnessed globally are unpredictable, calling for more preparedness. And Safina Party leader Jimmy Wanjigi wants the government to reconsider its plan of increasing taxes, calling for public participation on the matter. Speaking at a church service in Kiambu town, he noted that many Kenyans are struggling to make ends meet.
Because they are doing God's work. Why do you tax people when they are doing God's work? Sisi ni watu wa Mungu. Bishop, in as much as you want to pay tax, you must tell serikali it must look after those who are doing God's work.
And finally, the family of Esther Njoki, an 80-year-old grandmother from Kiamba village in Githunguri, Kiambu County, who was murdered at her house on July 1st this year, is questioning the slow manner in which investigations have been carried out by DCI officers from Githunguri police station. The family says despite providing crucial information to the investigative agency, little progress has been made that could lead to the arrest of the suspects.
Isipokuwa ile statement sisi tuliandikisha kwa polisi, hakuna mtu mwingine ambaye ameshikwa ama ameandikisha statement kuhusiana na hiyo case. Hakuna mtu mwingine ameshikwa, lakini kuna suspect.
Collins Lusweti, TV47, Nairobi.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has announced that a task force to review terms and working conditions for uniformed officers will be unveiled by President William Ruto in the next 2 weeks. Speaking during a Thanksgiving service for uniformed disciplined services, Gachagua urged the officers to remain professional in their duties. Andreen Kilemi reports.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua Sunday presided over the National Joint Thanksgiving Service for Uniformed Disciplined Services and their families held at the Holy Family Basilica in Nairobi. Speaking during the Thanksgiving service, the second-in-command said that a task force to review terms and working conditions for the uniformed services will be formed in 2 weeks' time by President Ruto upon his return from the United Nations Conference of Parties on Climate Change in Egypt.
We have had serious challenges across the country of increased incidents of suicide among our officers because of the problems that are there in the service. Because for the last 10 years, nobody has ever looked at the welfare of these officers. And because of the pressure of work and the cost of living, we have had very unfortunate incidents among our officers, and the government is well appraised of that situation.
The DP also dismissed calls for assistance from foreign detectives to investigate local cases, saying local officers were well trained and able to handle any case in Kenya.
We have very professional officers in all formations in this country, and our problems in this country will be solved locally by our Kenyan officers for the benefit of the Kenyan people.
Gachagua asked officers not to obey unlawful orders, saying the ruling government was keen on following the law, further warning that the government will not under any circumstances accept extrajudicial killings.
Those tools of trade that have gotten its blessings here are for protecting life and property. We cannot turn those tools to harm the very people they are supposed to protect.
The annual event was jointly organized by the Kenya Police, Kenya Prison, Administrative Police, Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI, Kenya Wildlife Service, Kenya Forest Service, and the National Youth Service. Andrine Kilemi, TV 47.
Thank you, Andrine, for that report. Residents of Karucho in Kirinyaga East Sub-County have been left in shock after a 37-year-old woman stabbed her husband to death. According to the family, Wanjira Miano allegedly stabbed her husband, Matthew Njagi Murioki, aged 29, and left him bleeding before running away with her 6-month-old baby boy.
This is Karucho village, where residents are dumbfounded after a 29-year-old man was allegedly stabbed by his wife to death. Peter Mushira, a brother to the deceased, said they were having a family occasion on Saturday evening when they received the news.
Usiku tuliitwa na jirani, bradhangu amedungwa na kisu. So kutoka hapo tukakuja haraka tukachukua gari tukamkibisa Kirinyaga Hospital.
Muriuki succumbed at Kirinyaga Sub-County Hospital, where he was undergoing treatment at around 10 p.m. Residents are calling on detectives to speed up the search for the suspect so that she can be brought to book.
Hatujui ni shetani gani aliingia usiku. Hiyo kitu kitendo ikatendeka. Mpaka sasa hajapatikana, lakini serikali inatuambia tu inaendelea kumtafuta.
They have also decried the increasing cases of domestic violence in the area, urging couples to find alternative ways of resolving conflicts.
Hii vita ya watu kupigana kwa nyumba ni mbaya sana na haifai. Ile kitu inafaa, watu wanafaa wakikosana wanaongea hiyo kitu wanamalizia.
Mtu aende kwao ama uende ukajitembeza kwenye unaweza jitembeza, lakini wacha kuua mtu.
Watu wasifanye mambo kama hii tena, kwa sababu ni vibaya kuua mtu yule mwingine. Mkikosana enda kwenu nyumbani.
The body of the deceased has been taken to Kibugi Funeral Home awaiting a postmortem. Sylvia Nyongesa, TV 47.
Mr. Namdi Wokiji was found at a beach house this morning.
When was the last time you saw Namdi?
At a party.
Did you notice anything strange about last night?
Are you taking money from my mother for this wedding?
You shouldn't be looking at that.
Ichi killed my son, and I want the world to know it.
Do you dream of working in Germany as a health practitioner? Mount Kenya University, through its affiliate, Equip Africa Institute, has partnered with Hochschule Koblenz University of Applied Sciences, Germany, to train you in healthcare assistant for German hospitals. The training, which targets those who have cleared KCSE and have proficiency in German, will be conducted in 2 semesters, with successful candidates being guaranteed apprenticeship and job opportunities in partner German hospitals. January intake is in progress.
I get asked this question a lot, like, what is your motivation? And for me is, I don't want poverty.
I'm an entrepreneur for work. I'm also a fashion designer, and I think my taste is amazing.
I am a mental health advocate, and I'm a dog mom, and I'm an auntie.
Marriage, no care.
You're being treated so badly, but then you have
cash in your account. She started dating the governor, who I will not mention. I think we should,
stop.
We should be able to sit down.
We are sat down right now. Everyone feels like they're right. It's just not going anywhere.
Who's heads, who's tails?
Heads.
I'm always heads.
Discover a world full of opportunities, a place to build your skill and see the world in a different perspective. Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses, giving you hands-on experience to handle the world. We offer courses such as plant operator, plant mechanics, driving and trailer driving, CCTV and alarm installation, solar installation, electrical installation, motor vehicle mechanics and electronics, building construction technology, welding fabrication, roads and dam construction, hospitality courses, and many more. For you to join us, ensure you have your national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride.
Remember, my skills, my future at Sensei.
Sensei College, my skills, my...
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back to the program. The World Health Organization estimates that around 73 million induced abortions take place worldwide each year. Locally, unsafe abortions account for nearly 2,600 deaths every year. In this special report, our health and science reporter Zainab Mohammed sheds light on the contentious issues surrounding the procurement of abortion services in Kenya and how lack of access to the services is impacting the lives of women and girls in low-income communities.
Amina, not her real name, is a rape survivor. At the age of 15 years, a cousin entrusted by her family to teach her Islamic teachings took advantage of her.
Kuna cousin yangu alikuwa amekuja kuishi kwetu. Sasa huo cousin yangu alikuwa ni mkubwa kuniliko kabisa na alikuwa amekujaga kufundishaga mambo za dini. Sasa parents wangu walikuwa wamemwacha tu ile akage hapo hivyo mambo ya dini. Mimi sikuwa najua hata kama ni mtu mbaya, juu alikuwa anatufundisha. Sasa ilifikaga mahali ile akaanzaga uchokozi naona tabia yake ilikuwa mzuri na mimi. Mimi ilifikaga mahali huo cousin yangu alikujaga kanishika. Na bila alinishikaga mimi ni kitu yani nilishindwa ndafanya nini? Juu nilikuwa niko shule, niko form 2.
The awful act resulted in an unwanted pregnancy.
Nilikuwa naanzaga hiyo kulala. Mamangu akija unasema, "Wewe mbona unalala mchana?" Hizo signs za mimba unajua vile inapelekaga mtu mbio. Sasa mimi nilikuwa naogopa na nilikuwa palikuwa tunaishi watu walikuwa yani ni watu machua, yani unapata msichana ni mdogo lakini msichana ni mjuaji, amejua vitu mingi kabisa. Nikamwambia mimi vile mambo imenifanyikia mimi najishuku ni kama niko na mimba. Sasa hiyo mimba yangu ilikuwa ni ilifika mwezi 2.
Living under staunch Muslim parents, Amina knew her parents would not have it. In search of a quick solution to get rid of her unwanted pregnancy, she bumped into one of the worst ordeals of her life.
Rafiki yangu, hata siwezi mtaja jina, akaniambia mimi naweza kukusaidia, juu alikuwa kwa mkubwa wangu kidogo. Akaniambia nitakusaidia lakini mimi naogopa. Hii ni between death na life kabisa. Ni rafiki msichana, sijui ndakusaidiaje juu kuna aunti yangu na huyo aunti yangu na ule mama wale wajuaji kabisa, anaweza fanya nini, anaweza kukusaidia. Nikamwambia sasa itakuwa kwa vipi na mimi sina pesa. Akaniambia itabidi tu unajua vile utangangana juu at least niko napatiwa pesa ya nini hizo za za shule za break nini na nini juu niko day school, niko hapa Kamkunji. Mimi ilibidi niliendaga huo best yangu akanipelekaga hapa Pumwani kwa mama place inajiita Mashimoni. Hapo ndo nilienda, kulikuwa na wasichana kadhaa, ni place yani hata uwezi explain. Yani hakuna usafi, hakuna yani hygiene. Na hao mama nile utakubali utazaa ama utatoa. Ni wale mama hata yani hata sijui nitaisema vipi, hawana huruma. Sasa mimi niliingia kutoka hapo kwanza ndio na msichana amebleed. Alikuwa amebleed vibaya kabisa. Yani nilikuwa yani nashindwa nitaanzaje.
The horror that is an unsafe abortion almost cost her life.
Ikafika time yangu, mimi nilienda, kuna shule nyingine kubwa kama zile shindano zile zilizodungwa nini inaitwaje ng'ombe. Hiyo shindano ndo liingizwa na kuvutwa. Kai. Nilivutwa na kuchokora huko ndani, na hakuna kitu tu nilipakwaga na kumkaga tu ni mambo na spirit peke yake na kupatiwa sitaisahau. Kulikuwa na Panadol, nilipatiwa Panadol na Amoxil. Damu ilikuwa inamwagika, niliwekewa cotton ikakata. Ilibidi sasa huyo mama tafute leso anieke paka leso. Sasa niliona kifo hivi kwa macho. Niliona kifo kwa macho, nilisema pana nipelekwe. Mamangu kuniona, mamangu ni nduru tu. Nini imefanyika ndo nikamexplainia, nikamwambia kuko hivi na hivi. Mamangu tena kurudia. Badala hata neno iko mamangu labda afadhali ningekufa. Sasa paka nashindwa hiyo time dunia yani maisha ni nini linituma. Ningejua najua ni kasi, jule ni ndugu yangu. Ni kama kasi kwa family, ni ndugu yangu. Kwa nini lilifanyika?
Fast forward to today, she has a limp and can barely walk properly. Her biggest nightmare has been carrying a pregnancy to term with 2 miscarriages already.
Nilikawia, sino nakwambia nilikuwa najua nimeshika mimba na kosa periods hata 2 months. Najua niko na ball kabisa. Nikaenda kupima na niko na mimba, nasikia tena imemwagika. Sasa paka nilikuwa nashindwa ni nini?
So ulikuwa na miscarriage? So umepata miscarriages ngapi?
2 so far. 2. Juu nilikuwa nasikia mpi yangu haiko strong. Sasa paka ikakuwa conflict kwa kina huo bwanangu, mwanamke umekaa naye karibu mwaka 2 hivi. Kweli azai nilikuwa paka najulikana kama nitasema ni nini ama alizoaga kutoa mimba. Unajua tu mama wa zamani.
Mlikuwa mnaizina nini?
32-year-old Sana Ombima also got pregnant at just 16 years old.
He was so good to me. Kienda shule ananifanyia shopping, ananipeleka shuleni. Kuna meeting shule, he comes to school. Uncle, because of course he was older than me. Ananishinda na 11 years. He was way older than me. So kama kuna visit shule, he comes as my uncle. Visiting day, he just comes because nobody used to come. So he just comes. Things went on hivo. Before I know it, I'm pregnant.
The young, naive school-going girl knew she would lose her scholarship should she carry the baby to term. Determined to get rid of the pregnancy before school holidays end, Sana experimented with all sorts of traditional methods.
Majani konk, nilikuwa najitolea hata nikiwa na pesa yangu niende ninunue a whole packet. Ni dissolve yote, nijaribu kuchunga, nikunywe. Nikajaribu nikaona for about 3 days it's not working. Sisikii pain yoyote. Sioni any blood. So na change to something else. Mwarobaini. Kunywa mwarobaini, niliambiwa anything bitter haiwezi kubaliana na mtoto kwa tumbo, atatoka. Kunywa mwarobaini ikafail. Nikaanza kukunywa sasa pills. Mapanadol, paracetamol zikiwa nyingi. Of course it is a stupid thing to think of, but sasa for me it was kinda a solution. Kakunywa hizi pills wapi? Zikakataa. Naambiwa concoctions zozote. There is another concoction aliniletea. I don't know it was a mixture of what, but it was very bitter na it had this smell. Ushaiona dawa imewekwa that inaanza kutoa smell fulani. I drank that thing. nothing happened.
However, the methods seemed to have little to no effect on the pregnancy as it grew bigger by the day. The now desperate young girl sought counsel from an older woman who directed her to what she describes as one of the most crude forms of unsafe abortion.
Kanaambia sasa juu huyu wako ni kichwa ngumu, there is a mama. Tunavuka mto mbali sana. This mama is known for kuingiza mtu hanga. You see hizi hanga za chuma, there's a way inakunjwa and then unaingizwa hiyo hanga and then anakuchokora nayo, anaenda kudistract ile formation ya mtoto and then sasa abortion itakuwa imehappen. Nikamwambia, you know what, let me sleep over that, let me think it through. So I thought, hii mimba ikiwa kidogo sana, nilianza na kwencha. Nilikunywa a whole 5 liter ya kwencha in the quest of getting rid of this baby. Hakutoka. Nimekunywa majani, huyu mtoto hajatoka. Nimekunywa all these concoctions nimeletewa. Now, am I this desperate that niende niingizwe waya? What if something happens and I die in the process?
Having tried different methods in her first months of pregnancy, Sana feared for her life and opted not to go ahead with the procedure. She was forced to drop out of school in order to raise her baby boy. Life couldn't have been harder for the young mother.
Alikuwa anaamka anateta but still anapika ananipe. She could feed me but ushaipewa chakula na maneno. Chukua kule ndio mtoto akue mnono ndio nini na nini uzae, ni badala ya kwenda kusoma ulienda kutafuta mimba. So she would she'd give you everything but na maneno juu yake, yani just to make you feel more guilty and feel bad about yourself and everything else. But again, she's your mother, she's doing everything na anakutukana, so it was better for me. So akanambia, now you know what, you're just going to give birth, and then when you give birth you can go back to school.
Her son, now 20 years old, is the apple of her eye, but the mother of one can't help but wonder how access to safe abortion would have shaped her life differently.
Thinking about it now, it was a horrendous situation. Thinking about it now. But then, I was a survivor. My child was a survivor. We were okay with anything because hatukuwa na chetu. Ile besheni mama yangu anapatia ng'ombe nayo maji. Patia ng'ombe nayo maji, kimaliza tunafulia nguo zetu, tukimaliza na rinse mtoto na muosha. Hakuwa ikuwa na besini yake. Haikuwa yatio na sabuni yake, ya wapi ya nani? Who is going to give you that? Hizo privileges unatoka wapi? Unatoa wapi? Ng'ombe ikihappen kupata hako kasabuni hapo ikule, ni hivyo. It was survival for the fittest. And I survived.
According to a report by the Center for Reproductive Rights in 2020, unsafe abortion accounts for the death of nearly 2,600 women and girls in Kenya every year, which translates to about 7 deaths every day. However, religious leaders continue to remain firm on their pro-life stand, begging the question, is the society turning a blind eye to the over 2,000 deaths caused by unsafe abortions?
Na kuenea kwa anasa ni kwa sababu watu wengi wamepinda, wamepotoka, maadili ya kidini hawana. Sasa hii inasababisha jambo hili linakuwa la kuzoeleka. Na kwa hivyo suluhisho ni mwanzo ni create awareness, kueleza watu uovu wa jambo hili na kipi ambacho kinaweza pelekea mtu mpaka kutumbukia katika kitendo hiki, kujaribu kuwarekebisha na kuwatahadharisha.
Unfortunately, unless, especially for those who are well endowed, are the only ones who can possibly afford the safe abortions. So we are actually wasting away our young girls in the name of protecting an image. And that's why I started by telling you, we need to look at what is there another option of navigating through that conflict that you have found yourself into. And so if there is anything the church would be doing, and it's doing right now, is setting up even departments that are focusing on helping these kind of young people.
The report, that is based on an in-depth analysis of 29 abortion-related charges and offences in 6 high court stations in Kiambu, Machakos, Nairobi and Nakuru counties, also shows that the enforcement of abortion laws between the year 2010 to the year 2019 has seen 47% of cases involved charges of concealing birth and 22% involved charges of attempt to procure abortion.
There are varied punishments beginning from 7 years. You can be imprisoned. There are various punishments in law. And you know, when drafting charge sheets, the office of the DPP has some independence, and they can decide to charge you for more than one offense. And when they charge you for more than one offense, it essentially means that the punishment becomes even more severe. Now, the number of times you have committed or you have attempted to commit the punishment called the offense called abortion, then that is something that the law should also take into consideration, so that will influence the kind of punishment that the court will give you. So it essentially means that at some point you can be punished even more severely if you have been in the habit of doing what you are doing. If it's a medical practitioner who has not been charged once or twice, then when you're punishing him, you cannot punish him as a first-time offender. You will punish him so severely so that it now becomes a lesson to him and to others as to how to deal with cases of abortion.
Pro-choice advocates are seeking for a repeal of Section 158 to 160 of the Penal Code to seal legal loopholes such as the provision of post-abortion care in government facilities vis-a-vis the conditioned provision of abortion services in those facilities.
Conducted an abortion in a manner that is not required or lawful, then what we'll do is we'll give you post-abortion care, we'll save your life. But after saving your life, we are going to subject you to a trial so that we can ultimately convict you for having killed a life. A child who has been bestowed with the responsibility, constitutionally so, with safeguarding the Constitution.
Abortion remains one of the most contentious issues in the world today, with world leaders such as the United States of America recently overturning the ruling of the Roe v. Wade case, a landmark case that ruled in favor of choice versus life.
Judgments, especially one in Malindi, decided by Justice Ruben Nyakundi, he made a decision where he saved some lady from prosecution who was conducting an abortion after, it is said that she got the child from some rape or some defilement. So I know in that judgment the court makes quite a number of references from the Roe versus Wade decision that was decided in America.
Even as the world continues to debate whether or not the promotion of safe abortion is beneficial to its societies, one thing is certain: more women and girls will continue to perish from what WHO terms as the leading but preventable cause of maternal deaths worldwide. Zainab Mohammed, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Zainab. You can catch a repeat of Cursed Wombs on our Facebook and YouTube page, TV47 Kenya. Now, Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Penina Malonza, has assured Kenyans that the government is set to compensate those injured by wild animals up to the tune of 2.6 billion shillings. Now, Malonza, who spoke at Kate Market while distributing relief food to locals across Kitui County, said she has written to the National Assembly for the approval of 2.6 billion shillings compensation to families of those who lost lives following the conflicts. Present at the event were Kitui County Commissioner Erastus Bui, Kitui Deputy Governor Wambua Kanani, and Area MCA Titus Kasinga, among other leaders.
Wiki hii peke yake tumeweza kushughulika katika zile deni zetu tuko nazo za bilioni 5 ya wale wajaweza kulipwa kutokana na kuadhiriwa kwao na wanyama mwitu. Wiki hii peke yake tumeweza kuangalia na tukatafuta fedha bilioni 2.66 ili tuweze kulipa baadhi ya cases 2663 na hivyo tunaongoza kulipwa. Kwa yale mengine ningependa kusema nitashirikiana pamoja na wale viongozi wetu ambao mmewachagua hapa Kitui ili tukaweze kufanya kazi pamoja kwa ajili ya watu wa Kitui na watu wa Kenya mzima.
Director of Public Prosecution Nurdin Haji, while launching a publication geared towards enhancing good practices in preventing and countering violent extremism in the country, said it will serve as a roadmap in the fight against terrorism and serve as a point of reference for criminal justice agencies in the region. Now, Nurdin noted that the document is aimed at advocating for human rights based approach to preventing and countering violent extremism. The ODPP, in partnership with Haki Africa, a human rights organization, monitored and evaluated the activities of the project, whose impact includes accessibility of justice and reduction of vulnerability of individuals at risk of the crime between the month of February and March this year in Mombasa and Kilifi counties.
But as a pilot, it's not that I was favoring the cost. It's because Hussein Khalid was bold enough to come and tell me, we have this proposal, can we try and pilot it? And I think it has proved that it can work. That, as you said, justice is relative depending on where you come from and the challenges that you face on the ground. And that we don't have a fit-all solution to everywhere within the country. And I think this